What is up, everybody? J Nell here with my UFC Fight Night 77 live from Brazil. Prediction video. Brazil always puts on great events. Don't sleep on it. We have 6 fights on this card, barring any injury. Let's get into it. I am choosing Corey Anderson to beat Fabio Maldonado. I am choosing Rashid Magomedov to beat Gilbert Burns in kind of a toss-up. I'm a little nervous about this pick. This should be an excellent fight, but I am going with Magomedov. I'm choosing Alex Oliveira to beat Piotr Hallman. That was messed up. I apologize, Mr. Hallman. But I'm choosing Oliveira. Next up, one of my guys to watch, Thomas Almeida. I'm choosing him against Anthony Burchak, and I expect this to be a very tough fight for him. Possibly fight of the night. After his last fight against Brad Pickett, where we saw Thomas get beat up in the first round, then come back and win in spectacular fashion. This kid, I believe he has something. I believe he's one to watch in the very stacked 155 division. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, and the Muay Thai's on point. He might be a higher belt than that by now. That might just be what the bio says. But again, at 24 years old, I'm looking to see what new tools you've added to your toolbox, Thomas. Get through another tough fight and slowly but surely climb your way up that ladder while gaining experience, knowledge, and just becoming and realizing your potential. Because I think you got something. I'm excited about Thomas Almeida. Next up, co-main event, and we're seeing Patrick Cummins take on Glover Teixeira. Patrick Cummins I have a soft spot for. I love the way he got into the UFC. You know, he's been wrestling all his life up through college, Division I, All-American, whole 9. Couldn't get a fight after that, was working as a barista. Took a fight against DC off of about 8 days' notice. Had the nerve to talk up the fight, talking about how he used to rule him in practice like umpteenth years ago. Got mollywopped in the fight, earned the respect of Dana White and company, came back, won his next few fights, and is now a full-fledged UFC fighter. And I just love stories like that. Now, Patrick Cummins, like I said, wrestling all of his life, is a very proficient wrestler, very persistent wrestler, fundamentally sound wrestler. He is developing the stand-up. I wish he would have gotten into the UFC or just into any MMA organization 3 to 5 years ago. I think he'd be much better by now, but he is improving. And against Glover Teixeira, this is the biggest fight of his career since the fight that got him into the UFC. So this is it. Glover Teixeira, I believe, is ranked number 4 here. So this is a major opportunity for Patrick Cummins. And you're going to have to come with something we don't know you have. Period. Because on all accounts, on paper, Glover Teixeira should win this fight. He has more tools than Patrick. Although Patrick is a very proficient wrestler, so is Glover. Glover is a very underrated wrestler, plus protege of Chuck, the Iceman, Liddell. He has excellent takedown defense. But again, an underrated wrestler, solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, solid submissions, and he's a boxer first. Striker first. So Glover Teixeira is a very well-rounded, very dangerous opponent. He's earned that spot in that top 5. He should win. But the cool thing about MMA is that underdogs win all the time. We see upsets all the time. So you can't ever count out someone like a Patrick Cummins. But I expect Glover Teixeira to win this fight. But it should be good, though. In Brazil, too, Teixeira. But this should be a very good fight. Now, main event, and we are seeing the conclusion. We are seeing the last fight in the trilogy of Vitor Belfort versus Dan Henderson. Collectively, probably the oldest fight in the history of the UFC. We have Dan Henderson at 45 years old. We have Vitor Belfort at 38 years old. The reason why Dan Henderson's been able to fight so long is because he started MMA later on in his career, somewhere around like 30 actually. As you know, he's one of the most highly decorated wrestlers in the UFC. A plethora of national championships, titles, belts, the whole 9. He is a Strikeforce, I believe, champion as well. 2 weight class division, 2 division champion, belt holder, Olympian. So this is a man who has earned his spot in history in MMA, and especially in the wrestling world. Vitor Belfort, the same, 38 years old, black belt, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, off the charts. Has seemingly hit his like 3rd run until, of course, this last fight against the champ, Weidman, where honestly it made me nervous. Even on the weigh-ins, he looked old. It seemed like we saw Vitor Belfort get old in front of our eyes in that last fight, even in the weigh-ins. I don't want to bring up the substance issues, of course, with the TRT and stuff, with the new substances being banned, quite frankly, every year. This is going to affect fighters who maybe used to be on those products differently. And I think with Vitor, we're seeing some negative effects. With Dan Henderson, also part of the reason why he's lasted so long, completely clean. All natural, baby. So that's why he's also lasting as long. That's something I think that's going to be to his credit. He might be physically healthier, in better condition. Maybe. It depends on what shape Vitor's in. Vitor, to me, striking has the advantage, although we know that Dan Henderson has that big old right. I believe it's the right. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be the left. But he's got that one hitter quitter. But so does Vitor. He also has the knees and the kicks. If Vitor comes in physically in the condition we were seeing him in before that championship fight, I pick Vitor. I do. I think he has more tools. I think the 38 years old is very young in this fight compared to 45. And I believe he still has a little bit more left. He's still ranked in the top 10. You know, that whole thing. So I am going to choose Vitor. But I'm nervous to see what type of shape he comes in on weigh-in days. If he's looking like he did against Weidman, I might have to do a 15-second prediction video and change that. We'll see. But for now, I'm choosing it for Vitor Belfort. Should be an excellent fight. Could be fight of the night as well. These two old vets, they're going to go at it. In Brazil, they're going to put on a show. It's going to be a great show. I'm excited for it. Let me know your picks. Hopefully no injury updates, but let me know if there are. Let me know how you've been feeling about the lack of fights and about all the injuries we've seen lately. Maybe some things going on in training that need to be changed here. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where I have exclusive 15-second predictions and recaps there. All under Just J Nell or J Nell Owens. Subscribe, like, talk to me. Take care, and goodbye.